Kael'thas's ceremonial deathblade, forged in neutron star cores, capable of splitting battlecruisers, stopped dead against 2 fingers, and the human receptionist looked more annoyed than impressed. "Could you not?" Emma Johnson said, her other hand still hovering over her holographic keyboard. "I just updated all the death certificates, and I really don't want to redo the paperwork." The Galactic Honor Tribunal's grand arena fell silent. 47 species representatives sat frozen in their observation pods, watching the impossible unfold in the execution circle below. Vex Thul, the tribunal commander, felt his 3 hearts stutter in sequence as his tactical implant shrieked warnings that made no sense. Physical impossibility detected, structural integrity violation, force calculations error. Kael'thas, champion of the 7th Fleet and bearer of his clan's ancestral blade, stared at the human female who had just intercepted his execution strike with 2 fingers. The blade hummed with contained fusion energy, its edge calibrated to slice through molecular bonds themselves. He'd cleaved asteroids with this weapon. He'd cut through the hull of a dreadnought during the siege of Proxima. The human was holding it like someone had handed her a particularly disappointing memo. "I'm sorry," Kael'thas managed, his translator struggling with his shock. "Did you just, with your hand?" According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. "Yeah, and I'd appreciate it if you could wrap this up," Emma said, finally looking up from her screen. "I have 17 diplomatic pouches to process before lunch, and the Centaurian delegation keeps spelling their own species name wrong on the customs forms." Vex Thul activated every scanner in the facility. Surely there was an explanation, a personal shield generator, molecular compression fields. Something. The results made his blood run cold. Scan complete. No artificial enhancement detected. Subject, biological tissue only. Error, tissue density incompatible with known life. Error, force resistance exceeds planetary crust threshold. Error, error, error. "Lockdown," Vex Thul commanded, his voice barely steady. "Full facility lockdown, security protocol Omega." "Oh, come on," Emma sighed. "Is this going to take long? Because I'm supposed to be at the front desk, and you know how Ambassador Zillax gets when there's nobody to sign for his packages." Kael'thas found his warrior's composure, though it felt like gathering water with a net. "Human, release my blade. The execution must be completed. The convicted has been sentenced under 47 articles of galactic law." "Right, sure," Emma said. She glanced at the war criminal cowering in the execution circle, a former admiral who'd ordered the destruction of a civilian fleet. But maybe without the big theatrical swing, there are interns sitting in the splash zone, and Janet just had the whole arena detailed last week. The ritual demands you not make more work for the cleaning crew," Emma interrupted. She still hadn't released the blade. "Look, I get it. Honor, justice, ceremonial satisfaction, but I've seen your maintenance requests. You know how long it takes to get biological matter out of the observation deck carpeting?" Kael'thas pulled. The blade didn't move. He pulled harder, engaging his enhanced musculature, augmentations that let him lift 6 times his body weight. Emma's fingers didn't budge. Are you trying to pull?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. "Commander Vex Thul," Kael'thas said carefully, not taking his eyes off the human. "I require assistance." The arena exploded into activity. Kael'thas's honor guard, 6 of the deadliest warriors in the known galaxy, descended from their posts. Security forces activated hard light barriers. Medical teams went on standby. Emma checked her phone. "Oh, good. The catering confirmed for tomorrow," she muttered. "Was worried about that." The first guard reached her, shock staff raised. Emma caught it with her free hand, the one not still holding Kael'thas's blade immobile, and the staff's neural disruptor field sparked and died. "Careful with those," she said. "Someone could get hurt." The guard pulled the trigger anyway. 20,000 volts of carefully calibrated energy, enough to drop a rampaging chromath, coursed through the staff. Emma's hair got slightly frizzy. "Oh, that's just great," she said, patting down her hair. "I just got this styled yesterday." All 6 guards attacked simultaneously. Shock staffs, plasma whips, gravitic disruptors, the kind of arsenal that could level a city block. Emma deflected them with casual swats, still holding her phone, still keeping Kael'thas's blade motionless with 2 fingers. "Okay, seriously, this is getting ridiculous," she said. "Can we just—" She sneezed. The shockwave from the sneeze sent all 6 guards tumbling backward. 3 security barriers shattered. Kael'thas's blade vibrated so violently he nearly dropped it. Except he couldn't, because Emma was still holding it. "Sorry," Emma called out. "Allergies. Someone's wearing too much Arcturian cologne." Vex Thul's tactical display was painting the human in colors he'd only seen once before, during a supernova observation mission. His computer was trying to classify her as a natural disaster. "Get me xenobiologist Zara," he commanded. "Now." Zara arrived within minutes, her scanning equipment rattling on its hovercart. She was the foremost expert in exotic biology in this sector, had catalogued 17 new species, and had written the definitive text on extreme environment adaptation. She took one look at her scanner readings and sat down on the arena floor. "That's not possible," she whispered. "Explain," Vex Thul demanded. "Her bone density. Commander, according to this, her skeleton should collapse under its own weight. The muscle fiber density is reading as compressed neutronium. Her cellular respiration is generating more energy than a fusion reactor." Zara looked up at Emma, who was now examining her fingernails, while still casually restraining the galaxy's most famous warrior. "She's not human. She can't be. Nothing biological can—" "I'm definitely human," Emma called over. "Born in Seattle, raised in Portland, got my degree from the University of Washington. Go Huskies." She finally released Kael'thas's blade and pulled out her ID card. "See, says right here, Emma Johnson, human. Blood type O positive." The moment she released the blade, Kael'thas stumbled backward, and the weapon felt strangely light in his hands. "What is Earth?" Vex Thul asked Zara quietly. The xenobiologist was already pulling up data. Her face went through several shades of pale. Oh no. Report. "Earth is classified as a Class 2 hostile environment," Zara read, her voice shaking. "Gravity, 3.7 times galactic standard. Atmospheric pressure, lethal to 89% of known species. Rotation period, extended to dangerous levels. Tectonic activity, extreme. Native predator count, catastrophic. Weather patterns, apocalyptic. It's a death world, Commander. They evolved on a death world." Emma had walked back to her desk and was typing again. "I mean, yeah. Earth's pretty standard as planets go. Bit rainy in the Pacific Northwest, but that's why we invented umbrellas." Kael'thas approached slowly, as one might approach an active fusion bomb. "Human Emma, when you stopped my blade, that was your full strength?" "What? No," Emma laughed. "God, no. I was barely paying attention. Full strength would have probably broken your sword, and those things are expensive." "How much stronger can you—" "I don't know, honestly. Never really tested it." She paused. "Actually, that's not true. I bench press my car sometimes when I need to check underneath." "That's like, what, 2 tons? Ish?" Zara made a sound like a dying engine. 2 tons? "You lift 2 tons for recreation?" "No, I lift 2 tons for car maintenance," Emma corrected. "For recreation, I rock climb. There's a great gym back on Earth. They have this overhang section that's really fun." "Earth has climbing facilities?" Vex Thul asked. "Why would you need to train for climbing?" "Because mountains exist?" Emma looked confused. "You guys don't have mountains?" "We have mountains. We use aircraft to traverse them." "Well, sure, but where's the fun in that?" Emma unwrapped a protein bar and took a bite. The sound of her teeth shearing through the compressed nutrition brick designed to feed a Chromath warrior for 3 days, made Kael'thas flinch. She chewed thoughtfully. These things are great. Way better than the ones from the vending machine on Deck 7. Zara was staring at her scanner. She just exerted 47 tons of bite force. Sounds about right, Emma said around another bite. My dentist says I grind my teeth at night. Stress, you know, working at a tribunal isn't easy. You wouldn't believe the filing system when I got here. Vexthul felt reality crumbling around him. Human Emma, why are you working as a receptionist? Because you guys were hiring and I needed a job. She finished her protein bar. The benefits are great, and the commute is easy. Plus, I like the work. It's satisfying when everything's properly filed and organized. But you could. Kael'thas gestured helplessly at the arena. You're stronger than our entire security force. I mean, sure, but I'm not really qualified for security work. I have a degree in library science. She brightened. Although if you need help reorganizing the archive system, I have thoughts about your current taxonomical structure. The war criminal, forgotten during the chaos, chose that moment to make a run for it. Emma glanced up, sighed, and flicked her finger. The sonic boom from that casual gesture sent the criminal tumbling backward into the execution circle, unconscious. Sorry, Emma said. Where were we? Vexthul made a decision. Ambassador Zelax, please attend the arena immediately. The Galactic Council's senior xenological advisor arrived with his usual entourage of scientists and historians. Zelax had spent 3 centuries studying alien species, had brokered first contact with 64 civilizations, and had never looked frightened. He looked frightened now. You called me here to observe a human, he said flatly. You've encountered them before. Encountered? Commander, I wrote the recommendation for Earth's quarantine status. Zelax approached Emma with visible caution. Human. What brings you so far from your homeworld? Student loans, Emma said cheerfully. And I wanted to see the galaxy. Earth's great, but there's only so much of it, you know? I see. Zelax turned to Vexthul. How much damage has she caused? Damage? She stopped an execution, neutralized my honor guard, and rendered our security protocols meaningless. But she hasn't caused any damage. That's good. That means she's being careful. Zelax pulled up a holographic display. Commander, humans are what happens when evolution decides that survivable is for the weak. Their planet tried to kill them for 4 billion years, and they responded by becoming unkillable. That seems like an exaggeration. Does it? Watch. Zelax turned to Emma. Human Emma, would you mind demonstrating your resting heart rate? Sure. Emma touched her neck. Usually around 60 beats per minute. Now exercise. Please jog in place. Emma shrugged and started jogging. The floor cracked under each footfall. Seismic sensors across the facility began screaming warnings. She kept it up for 30 seconds, then stopped. Okay, now it's at like 90. She's barely elevated, Zara whispered. That level of exertion should have killed most species. Yes, Zelax confirmed. Humans have multiple redundant systems for everything, multiple hearts. They have one, but it's over-engineered to absurd levels. Their healing factor is so aggressive that they're basically immortal by our standards. She'll live 2, maybe 300 years. And their pain tolerance? He shook his head. They break bones and keep walking. Emma raised her hand. Actually, I did that once. Broke my toe moving furniture. Still had to finish my shift at the restaurant. You worked in food service with a broken bone. Kael'thas looked ill. Wasn't that bad. Taped it up, took some ibuprofen. Emma paused. Although my manager was kind of a jerk about it. Said I should have been more careful. Vexthul felt a headache forming. Ambassador, what do you recommend? Honestly, let her keep working reception. If she's happy there, we're lucky. Very, very lucky. Zelax pulled up more data. The last time humans got involved in galactic conflict, they ended it in 6 weeks. The war had been going for 3 centuries. How? They asked both sides to explain the conflict, got frustrated with the answers, and brokered a peace treaty over coffee. Both governments were too terrified to refuse. Zilax closed his display. Humans are the apex predators of the universe, Commander. They just don't know it yet, or they do know it and find it boring. Emma had returned to her desk and was filing digital forms with terrifying efficiency. Each keystroke was precise, controlled, and Vexthul's sensors indicated that each tap was still generating enough force to dent steel. "Human Emma," Kael'thas called out, his voice carefully respectful. "The execution, it still must be completed." "Right, yeah," Emma stood up. "Can we do it quick? I want to finish the Andromeda sector filing before lunch." She walked to the war criminal who was just regaining consciousness. He looked up at her and whimpered. "Under the authority of the Galactic Honor Tribunal," Emma said, reading from her phone, "and in accordance with Articles 47 through 93 of the Galactic Justice Charter, you are hereby sentenced to death for crimes against sentient life." She looked at Kael'thas. "That right? That is correct." "Cool." Emma flicked the war criminal's forehead. There was a sound like a thunderclap, and the criminal slumped over, dead before he hit the ground. "There, humane, quick, and no mess for Janet to clean up." She pulled out her tablet. "I'll update the death certificate now. Natural cause is okay, or do you want it listed as execution?" The arena was silent except for Emma's typing. Kael'thas found his voice. "Human, I must ask, would you consider training our warriors, teaching them your methods?" "Hard pass," Emma said without looking up, "but I can email you some workout videos from Earth if you want." "Fair warning, though, they're designed for humans. You'll want to start at like 10% intensity and work your way up, maybe 5%, she paused. "Actually, better start at 1%. One of our senior citizen water aerobics classes would probably hospitalize you guys." "Your elderly exercise underwater?" "Yeah, it's low impact, good for the joints." Emma hit send on her form. "Okay, death certificate filed, execution logged, and I've already processed your honor satisfaction paperwork, Kael'thas. You should get a confirmation email in a few minutes." Vexthul made another decision. "Ambassador Zilax, I want new protocols implemented immediately. All humans working in galactic facilities are to be treated with maximum diplomatic courtesy." "Already done, Commander. I updated the regulations 3 years ago when the first humans started leaving Earth." Zilax smiled grimly. "The key word in the protocol is courtesy. Humans respond well to politeness. They're actually quite reasonable if you don't treat them like threats." "Even though they are threats?" "Especially because they're threats. An irritated human is a dangerous human. A happy human?" Zilax gestured at Emma, who was humming while processing forms. "They're the best allies you could ask for. Loyal, hardworking, and genuinely kind." He lowered his voice. "They don't realize how terrifying they are, Commander. To them, they're normal. They think we're the fragile ones." "We are," Zara said quietly. Emma's phone rang. She answered it cheerfully. "Galactic Honor Tribunal, front desk, this is Emma." "Oh, hi, Mom." "Yeah, work's good. Had a weird thing with an execution today, but it worked out." I know. You worry too much. I'm being careful." "Mom, I'm surrounded by heavily armed security and combat warriors. I'm literally the safest person in the galaxy." She laughed. "Okay, I'll wear a jacket if it makes you feel better. Love you too. Bye." She hung up and smiled at the assembled warriors, scientists, and commanders. "Sorry about that. My mom worries." Kael'thas approached and bowed deeply, a gesture of respect reserved for superior warriors. "Human Emma, I acknowledge your strength. You could have killed me easily, but you showed restraint. That is the mark of a true warrior." "Oh, well, thanks." Emma looked genuinely touched. "But I'm really not a warrior. I just didn't want you to hurt yourself. That blade was moving pretty fast, and you guys seem kind of delicate. No offense." None taken, Kael'thas said, meaning it. Would you at least accept my gratitude? You prevented me from causing a diplomatic incident. How would you have caused... Emma stopped. Oh, the execution splash zone thing, right, she grinned. Hey, no problem, that's literally what I'm here for. Customer service. The rest of the day proceeded with surprising normalcy. Emma processed her 17 diplomatic pouches, reorganized the tribunal's case file system, and helped an ambassador from the Crab Nebula figure out the coffee machine. She did all of this while scientists surreptitiously scanned her, while warriors watched with newfound respect, and while Commander Vex Thul updated the facility's threat assessment protocols. At 5 p.m., Emma logged out of her computer, grabbed her bag, and waved goodbye to the security team. See you tomorrow, she called. Oh, and Kael'thas? I sent you those workout videos. Start with the chair yoga. Trust me. She walked to the transport station, her casual footsteps triggering every motion sensor as threat level maximum. The automated systems had learned to ignore her weeks ago. At home, a modest apartment in the station's residential section, Emma kicked off her heels, changed into comfortable clothes, and texted her friend Sarah back on Earth. Weird day at work. Stopped in execution. Still finished everything before 5 p.m. though. Sarah replied immediately. Girl, you need to ask for a raise. Emma laughed and started making dinner. Outside her window, the station's senior staff convened an emergency meeting about humanity's place in the galactic community. Regulations were rewritten, military protocols were updated, scientific paradigms were questioned and rebuilt. Emma made pasta, watched a movie, and went to bed. The next morning, she arrived at the tribunal 15 minutes early, coffee in hand, ready to tackle the day's filing. Ambassador Zilax was waiting at her desk with a nervous-looking delegation. Human Emma, he said carefully, we have a situation developing in the Outer Rim, a conflict that's been escalating for months. Would you be willing to attend a diplomatic session, as an observer? Will it take long? Emma asked, already checking her calendar. I have a lot of forms to process. We'll make it quick, Zilax promised. And you'll ask nicely? Because I'm not doing the intimidation thing. That's not really my style. We'll ask very nicely. Okay, sure, Emma smiled. Let me just clear my morning schedule. As she typed, Zilax caught Vex Thul's eye. The commander nodded. They'd learned their lesson. Humanity wasn't a threat to be contained or a weapon to be wielded. They were a force of nature, powerful, unpredictable, and strangely reasonable. The galaxy would adapt to humans because really, what other choice did they have? Emma finished her scheduling update, grabbed her tablet, and stood up. Okay, let's go solve your war. But I need to be back by 2. The Centaurian delegation is coming by, and somebody needs to help them with their paperwork. Somewhere in the cosmos, an ancient prophecy was coming true. Somewhere, military strategists were recalculating every combat doctrine. Somewhere, scientists were rewriting the laws of biology. But in the Galactic Honor Tribunal, it was just Tuesday, and Emma Johnson had forms to file.